Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we are back with a Varus supplementary guide on an AP Varus variant. Now in my opinion, this is the best way to play AP Varus. It basically just involves going for Essence Reaver and a Gluttonous Greaves at the beginning instead of going for Mana Boots straight into Nashers and Riftmaker. Because with that build, you're only really strong when you hit Riftmaker, you're really weak in the early game, and you also have horrible wave clear throughout the game because your arrow is going to do no damage to minions. So with this build, we're going to start off with the Gluttonous Greaves for the AD as well as the Omnivamp. And then we go into Essence Reaver, which is going to give us AD, Ability Haste, Crit, which is not too important in this build, as well as the bonus damage on our abilities. Now bonus damage on our abilities is always going to be useful regardless of what kind of build you're going to go for. 22.5% extra damage is going to be great. And also the Mana Siphon passive does try to circumvent your mana problems a little bit. So only then we're going to go into the AP section of the build. And here's where it gets interesting. So first off, we're going to start off with a Nashor's Tooth. It's going to give us, of course, attack speed, ability haste, and on-hit magic damage. However, at the beginning, because we have 35 AD from here and 40 AD from here, giving us a total of 75 AD, this is actually going to give us 30 AD instead of AP. So at the first part of the build, on the first two items, this is actually going to be an AD kind of Varus. Only when you get to the Riftmaker where it gives you 80 AP, then your Nashor's Tooth is going to be converted into an AP item. So it's going to give you 60 AP instead of 30 AD. That's the kind of interesting part about it. So afterwards, then you're going to go for a Crown, of course, for the safety, and you top it off with a Death Cap for some extra damage all the way at the end. So with this build, you have pretty much the best of both worlds, which is the AP burst as well as the wave clear and the poke from the AD. Of course, the poke is not going to be as good as all the other AD Varus variants, but you still have the Essence Reaver, at least for the wave clear. Because I think one of the worst parts about AP Varus is when you're on the back foot and when enemy team is pushing in and you have no wave clear, it's kind of just horrible because you can't survive, can't clear the minions and stuff. So for the runes, we're actually going to go for Conqueror, because Conqueror, you can stack it up really easily with Varus with all of his multiple points of damage. Really easy to get a full stack Conqueror. And a lot of the times you find yourself in a little bit of a longer fight, so Conqueror is going to be really good here. Now you could go for First Strike. I don't quite like First Strike on Varus, except when you're building him Vitality, where you can get huge numbers with First Strike. Even on AP, I don't quite like First Strike, so I like going for Conqueror majority of the time. Brutal, because you still auto attack a lot. Giant Slayer, best rune in this position. Alacrity for the extra attack speed. You could also go for the Omnivamp if you prefer, but I think attack speed is better here because you only have one attack speed item in your build, which is the Nashor's Tooth. And then of course we have the Bone Plating for the extra defensive stats. And then we're going to go for the Ghost as well as the Flash. You could also go for Exhaust instead of Ghost if you're into a team with a lot of threat, which in this game I am, so I'm going to go for Exhaust in this game. But let's move on to the gameplay and talk more about it. Alright, so on to the gameplay. So now, as usual, there's only really two occasions you want to build AP Varus. Occasion number one, when your team has no AP, like this match where I have no AP on my team whatsoever except for me. Occasion number two, the enemy team is very tanky. So of course, Varus does do percent health damage with his blight stacks, and that percent health damage scales off of AP. So if the enemy team is really tanky, you can go for an AP build to of course do more percent health damage, which is then going to be really good countering them. So as I mentioned, I like to take E level 1 most of the time on Varus because it's the easiest kind of poke to hit. Like with the Q, they can easily dodge it, and you really only want to take W level 1 if you can auto attack the enemies a lot, which wasn't really the case in this match. So we go for the E. And level 2, you always want to take W regardless of whatever you started at level 1. And of course on level 3 you want to take the last one that you don't have. So here for some reason Swain is walking up all the way. So we're getting off a lot of free auto attacks onto him, and we get a pretty good trade. He did take more damage than Leona, so that that was a pretty good trade in my book. Swain is going back, I think, to take the fruit. And we are going to take the fruit ourselves because we have taken a decent amount of damage. Now I believe Swain is hiding in a bush somewhere. So there he is. He does pop the W. So here I'm going to focus him down, flash forward, land my E. I exhaust the the Xayah, I'm just gonna keep on attacking. Xayah does go down, so overall we trade 2 for 1. You know, worth it trade in my book. We do get both kills, and Leona does end up going down. All summoners blown on both sides. The exhaust really important there. So you can see one of the kind of benefits of going exhaust over ghost is when you are fighting in lane, if the enemy team doesn't have exhaust, that is actually going to help you out a lot. So here in this match you can see Xayah has ghost when I have exhaust. So you always have to take note when you're playing exhaust versus ghost or ghost versus exhaust, what are the advantages and disadvantages. So of course, when we're in a 2v2 like that, having exhaust is a huge advantage because you're gonna completely cut the enemy's damage. Whereas when you have ghost, it gives you a lot more mobility, which is going to be a lot more useful in team fight situations, or you know, just in basically non all-in situations. Majority of the time, ghost is going to be better. But of course, you always have to take note of the matchup there. So Xayah heavily committed, but I exhausted her, and you know, it's cutting her damage by a lot. So I was able to let Leona survive long enough for me to basically get the kill onto the Xayah and trade for her life. So here Leona holds the wave on our side. So now you can see the wave is frozen outside our tower. So Xayah and Swain are completely getting zoned off of the minions. If they want any CS, they're going to have to walk up here with the threat of Leona engaging. Of course, Leona's not quite yet level 5. Neither is Xayah or Swain though. So Swain is able to hit a hook onto me, and I'm gonna hit the root onto the Xayah, burst her down. Lee Sin comes in with a kick. Xayah is with the actual very nice ultimate to dodge the Swain's body flying at her basically. But she still dies to Lee Sin anyway, and I'm able to pick up the Swain, who's now right in front of me, so I'm able to just one-shot him, and he goes down. Darius is now on the chase for me, and I know I'm in trouble here. I'm trying my best to run away. I get hooked in, slowed down, smited again, and I'm taking a lot of damage. My bone plating actually comes back up, and I'm able to actually kill the Darius. But unfortunately for me, I pretty much knew I was dead there because I had the bleed on me, and I knew I wasn't getting out. So I basically went for the trade, and I actually end up trading 1 for 1 with the Darius. He does get the 4-kill shutdown though, but at the end of the day, I knew I was dead to rights the moment he got the hook on me. And the fact that I was able to trade 1 for 1 is a win in my book as well. So we're off to a pretty hot start, 4-1-1. Getting really fed, pretty much 1k gold ahead of basically anyone else in the game. So we're at a really good spot. The only thing that's a little bit awkward is that we have not yet finished our Essence Reaver. And without it, the components are kind of trash. So we're not exactly in the best position here. So nice engage coming in from Leona onto the Xayah. Aurelion still turned out to be behind, but I'm still able to finish off the front target, which is going to be Swain. Now even though Leona basically locked down Xayah for 1 eternity, but I can't really follow up because Swain is kind of body blocking the Xayah, so I couldn't really do much there except ult the Swain and finish him off, which is what I did there. Asol is probably still hanging around somewhere over here. I think he's probably still in the bush. There he is. And Leona's taking a bunch of damage. Does go for the CC on the Swain and Xayah as well. We get rooted, and unfortunately looks like we are going to go down. I tried to flash the Xayah feathers to finish off Asol, but unfortunately I wasn't quite able to do it. Now Zed's going in 1v3, misses everything onto the Asol, runs out of spells, gets rooted by the Xayah, and basically gets killed, but at least he got the Xayah before he died. But that was a horrible thing to watch right there. He just missed all of his spells, like on a 1 HP Asol. But yeah, at least he got the Xayah. That's all I can say, I guess. He doesn't even pop the ult, which is really weird. But anyways, we complete our Essence Reaver. So now we are on the power spike of having the Essence Reaver. We can now actually wave clear, and we now have actual decent poke. So we're at a really fine spot. Swain misses the hook, or I should say the root, or whatever that hand thing you want to call it. So here we're just kiting to the side so we don't get rooted by Xayah. I'm trying to get off the poke onto her, but I think I only hit a minion. So yeah, she does have the blight stacks still on her. Asol is back again because Zed is not in lane. He's helping out with the Herald, so we have 3 people on the Herald. I believe that the enemy team must be doing the Dragon. Yep, they do have 3 people on the Dragon. And yeah, so we end up trading Herald for Dragon, which is of course a good trade because Herald gives you a lot of early game gold, although I don't know how useful that gold is going to be on this particular Zed. So here with the help of the Essence Reaver, we're going to easily be able to, clear the wave. And here, for some reason, Swain decides to just step into our range, so we actually stack up onto him before we even hit ult, and then we just ult arrow him and he's dead. And the cherry on the cake is the fact that he just popped his ult for no reason right before he died. So you know, we not only get his life, but we also get his ult. So that was pretty nice. He didn't flash, didn't ignite, didn't anything. He just stood there and died basically. And here my tower is under fire, so I'm quickly clearing up the wave. I'm stacking onto ASO, popping the stacks. The black hole is kind of sucking me back in, so I can't really chase them down. And it's also a little bit dangerous. Xayah gets off a nice root, but I get a nice arrow onto the Xayah. Xayah is flashing away, ghosting away as well. Zed finishes off the ASO with the ulti, and he's now stuck on 1 HP. Now Xayah is trying to recall in that bush. Leona's just biding her time waiting, and does go in onto the Xayah. I believe he's going to get a kill. Yep, does get the 1v1 kill onto the Xayah. I'm going to just arrow the wave to clear. And now with some minion waves, with the minion wave, we're going to probably be able to get the tower because the plates have just fallen, so the tower is now going to be pretty squishy. We actually spot, I believe it's Katarina coming up here, but we don't quite care because we still have exhaust and we can basically just one-shot her. Like that Darius though, we have to be a little bit scared, but unfortunately, Leona is the one that gets hooked and slowed, so we are, you know, she's not going to be able to get out, but we can get out, so we are going to do just that. And now Zed is caught in a 1v1 versus the Darius, and I don't think it's a 1v1 he wins because Darius has full stacks and probably applied it to the Zed. Zed is now on 1 HP but is able to eventually escape, so he gets out. And now we reset, we get ourselves the Nashor's Tooth, so now we're, you know, as I mentioned in the build, now we're kind of doing full AD. Nashor's Tooth is giving us AD, so we are doing a decent amount of auto attack damage. Lee Sin comes in, and Swain is now just kind of caught out. Swain is not getting out. He's not going anywhere, and we basically just one-shot him. Xayah gets kicked into the into my team and gets one-shot by Lee Sin as well. And yeah, pretty nice going so far. And we should probably be going for a Porter Belt soon. Porter Belt is the best, not really the best, but it is one of my favorite enchants to get on Varus because you can Porter Belt forward to get an ulti, you can Porter Belt away, it's just an extra dash. Just really useful in general just because Varus has pretty much no mobility, and I find it in general more useful than Stasis and Quicksilver. Unless I'm in a team that has a lot of CC or, you know, a lot of like burst damage. So here we're probably going to go for the Porter Belt in this match. You can see the wave clear coming in from the Essence Reaver. Just one arrow and one auto attack per minion is able to clear the wave. Whereas so if we went for a full AP build, that arrow would have not even done half of the damage. So here I'm trying to get the one shot on Katarina. I nearly get it, but she flashes away. Lee Sin's going to chase her down and finish off the kill. Swain gets, not Swain, Darius gets kicked back into my team and we finish the Darius off, and now we're on the chase for the Swain. Swain's taking a bunch of damage and I hit the arrow onto him to do a decent amount of damage. But, you know, nothing quite too significant. Swain is able to survive. And now we are making a play onto the ASO. Looks like it's going to be like a 4 to 5 man tower dive. So he's getting really low. I'm able to actually hit the E and finish him off. And now we can actually get the tower when the minions actually come in. So waiting for Mundo to just clear out the wave. And now with the minions we can easily get this tower. Now here I'm trying to recall. I see the wave, I'm just going to help him out a little bit. And I'm just going to recall. For some reason Katarina and Darius goes in onto Leona. I spot it and walk back immediately. Get the root. And we kill the Darius. Katarina is not exhausted. She doesn't do any damage. And we're able to finish her off as well. Now thankfully Katarina isn't fed, because if Katarina is fed, you know, even exhausted, she can do a really good amount of damage. You can see even this Katarina is 3, 7, and 1. Already does a lot of damage onto me, and I believe she doesn't have stacks on her Magi's because she has been dying a lot. So I believe she has a 0 stack Magi's, just a Oblivion or Infinity Orb. Yeah, just Infinity Orb, and already does a really good amount of damage. If Katarina is fed, the exhaust is not going to save you at all. So yeah. So here the next dragon is up. We're just going to go for this dragon to deny the enemy team triple dragon. Or rather, I should say dragon soul. Lee Sin Q to secure the dragon. And here we have Riftmaker. So as I mentioned, at the point that you get Riftmaker is the point where you have, you know, you become AP Varus, which is basically where Nashor's Tooth becomes an AP item. So here we're just gonna grab this red buff. Now we are building AP, but it's not like Zed can benefit more than me on the red buff, or Mundo, so red buff is still best on Varus. So we're just gonna drive by, get some of the raptors, and then grab this skull crab, and then we can see if any play can be made here. Swain checks the wrong bush. Darius is about to face check into us, as somehow we miss a ulti onto a Darius who wasn't even expecting us to ult him, but we are still able to burst him down. And then we're going for Swain Nyx, stacking onto the Swain, bursting him down. Xayah pops the ghost under the tower for pretty much no reason. And we're going to just go for the tower. Leona flashes forward, engages onto the Xayah. Zed follows up, but Xayah has the ulti, so unfortunately Leona does end up just going down without any real trade. The Mundo is now getting caught. He's now on 1 HP and he gets shut down. Kind of a mini throw by my team here by a little bit. So now we're going to have to back off a little bit and probably just grab a reset or something like that. I spot a huge wave in bot. I'm just going to grab this for a little bit of mana. And I'm going to quickly go ahead and clear this bot wave. Otherwise, we're going to lose our tower. And we're also going to lose a lot of gold if no one clears this wave. So I'm going to quickly clean up this wave. And maybe even the next wave, which is going to push in like right now pretty much. So again, with the Essence Weaver, you can see that with like an arrow, we can nearly pretty much just one-shot the wave. Just 1 to 2 auto attacks per minion is going to finish the job. And now with all the gold in the pocket, we can grab a reset and see what we can get. Of course, getting the components for the crown. Of course, crown is going to help us quite a bit against the likes of this team like Darius and Swain's pull. Even like Katarina damage could be a little bit helpful against that as well. So now my team is doing pretty well. The Zed that has been mucking about is actually getting really fed now. I guess, you know, that's just how the champ works. Assassins, you know. So anyways, here we're just hanging around the enemy jungle just because we can, and the enemy team is so much weaker than us. We have a nearly 10k gold lead at this point, so there's not a lot they can do to stop us. So here Swain goes on the tower and he's basically asking to get dived. So he decides to go for the best thing, which is to go for the low HP Zed. And Katarina is here, so I can't just run at them because I could be in danger of getting killed by Katarina. We get the tower instead. Swain now is basically caught between a rock and a hard place, and we are basically able to one-shot him with the help of our AP. So now I'm going to focus the inhib, because getting inhib is really, really huge, especially on the opposite side of Baron. Leona is going in onto the Xayah and basically trades her life to distract Xayah from defending the inhib, and now I'm trying to one-shot the Xayah, but unfortunately Katarina comes in from behind and one-shots me instead, so that's not really part of the plan. But regardless, Katarina gets the shutdown onto me, which is not the best, but Katarina's itemization is pretty strange. She has a GA second item instead of like a crown or a death cap, so there is that. And now with multiple members dead, honestly the enemy team could have gone for Baron. If I were them, I'd probably be going for Baron here because 3 members are dead, including the Fed ADC and including the jungler, so this is the point that I will go for Baron. Unfortunately though, you can see the mid tower, my mid tower survives on 1 HP, so enemy team doesn't even get the mid tower. But yeah, so now I have respawned back on the map. And I'm just gonna go ahead and farm the jungle. Dragon is coming up, so we can contest Dragon if we want to. I'm gonna recall, I believe I can complete Crown, which is why I'm grabbing those raptors there. So here I'm gonna complete Crown, which is of course a pretty huge purchase for safety purposes. Of course it did get nerfed to only have 50% damage reduction instead of 70%, but that's still pretty good. Crown is just a really strong item for safety, just in general. Here looks like a fight's gonna break out. Leona goes in with the stun, I follow up with the root, and Darius and Swain are getting bursted down. Both of them go down quickly. Katarina, I'm not sure what she's doing, she's jumping to the back line. But she GA pops and she just goes down as well. Honestly at this point I was saying we can probably just end the game. Aesol is caught out of position, only Xayah is left to defend, so me and Leona are going for the end. Xayah is free hitting onto me quite a bit though, so I'm taking quite a chunk of damage. Xayah is forced to ult, and only 1 minion left. So we don't really have the minions to push, so we have to wait for the next wave, which is now here. And Lee Sin kicks the Xayah, and Xayah does end up going down. So this should be the end of the game right here, so we are able to finish the game. So I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.